Hey everyone, this is Gerry T, and I'm doing 3 deck techs on Modern, just 3 decks that I think are decks to watch for upcoming Grand Prix this weekend in Lincoln or random PTQs. And the first deck I want to talk about is an updated version of my Blue-Red Tron deck. So basically the goal of the deck is to resolve one of these guys right here, one of the big aliens. We have Emrakul, Ulamog, and Kozilek. And you can do that either with the Tron lands, just assembling one of each, and an Eye of Ugin to help search them out and to make them cost less, or you can just play it Through the Breach and put them into play for cheap and just get to annihilate your opponent that way. And what I like about this deck is that Through the Breach makes matchups like Jund and stuff like that basically pretty easy. Like they can't really interact with you, and it's something that the Blue-White Tron deck kind of struggles with, where they're trying to grind out a Jund deck and it doesn't really work so well. So we have 12 Urza lands, and then some Signets and a Prismatic Lens to kind of convert that colorless mana into colored mana, and some Expedition maps to find your Urza's pieces or the Eye of Ugin. And over here we have Remand and a bunch of different removal spells. And those are basically just help us buy time. We're not really too worried about stopping what our opponent's doing, so we're playing Remand instead of Mana Leak. We'd rather just keep cantripping and drawing through our deck to find the pieces that we need. And all the removal is kind of different because of Gifts Ungiven. So with Noxious Revival and Snapcaster Mage, you can basically use gifts as a double demonic tutor to find whatever you need. So if you're facing down a bunch of creatures, you want a different suite of removal spells rather than, say, 4 lightning bolts or something. So if they're playing a weenie deck, you just get Pyroclasm, Fire Spout, and then maybe these two, and then you have 2 Wrath of Gods, basically. And then over here we have Thirst for Knowledge, and that's basically just your general card drawer, keeps the cards flowing, and you just want to assemble your Urzatron and stall the game and then play a fatty. And then over here we have the sideboard. 3 Dispels, I really like that. It's super cheap, stops stuff like Cryptic Command, anything that would really try and stop you from resolving what you're trying to do, or maybe they're trying to bounce your Urza land for a turn. Next up we have a 4th Through the Breach, and that's basically for matchups like Jund that are kind of grindy, but you kind of just want this card to kill them on the spot. You don't really want to mess around and actually play Magic with them, because who wants to do that? And then we have a couple more removal spells, another Pyroclasm for the smaller creature decks, decks with birds and elves maybe. Dismember is a card that's good against Tarmogoyf. We're in red, so we don't really have that much spot removal for bigger creatures, so you need something like Dismember, and it's also a good card against Splinter Twin. And then we have a Wormcoil Engine, which is another card that's good against Jund. And sometimes when you have Tron and Eye of Ugin, you're not quite to Emrakul mana yet, so you want a different colorless creature to search up. And this one is about the best. It's kind of resilient to the removal, gains you some life, buys you some more time, so you can play some more land drops and then eventually Emrakul them. And then the next 4 cards are all just different artifact removal things. You play against Affinity, and you gifts for Hurkyl's Recall, Shatterstorm, Snapcaster, Noxious Revival. That's going to kill their permanents 2 turns in a row. And again, you're not really killing them that way, but that should buy you enough time to get to Emrakul mana. And then Ancient Grudge, it's okay. You might not flash it back that much. We only have 1 Breeding Pool and a Prismatic Lens to flash it back, but it's good to gifts for when you need that type of thing. And against decks like Cawblade, where you just want some sort of artifact removal, you want to stop their swords, but you don't really want to invest in just a Shatter, then you have Grudge. And then the last 4 cards are basically Splinter Twin hate. And Affinity and Twin are probably the 2 worst matchups, which is why I'm devoting so much sideboard slots to them. But after board, those matchups become really good. And basically, because of gifts again, I want different answers to gifts for. So Combust is probably the best one, but you just can't play a bunch of Combust, because if they start trying to go off and you can't really gifts for an answer, you want to be able to get a Matrix and Dismember, stuff like that. And then Spellskite it's good against most of their combo, it's good against Splinter Twin, but not Kiki Jiki, but it's searchable with Eye of Ugin. You don't really want to forget that, especially if you're playing against a burn deck, and maybe the Wormcoil Engine isn't going to be enough. Spellskite's a good man. So that's it. I think I'm playing something similar to this in the Grand Prix this weekend, so you guys should definitely check that out. Watch me, see how I'm doing, and this is part 1, so make sure you stay tuned and look at the other 2 parts.